Yeah, if you look close enough at all the deep water fish on the minimap, you do dot to dot, you can actually draw in a ginormous... Anyway, one and all, welcome back to A4 Action. It's time for the deciding game between Frey Clan... Let me switch them around. And the Canadian-Vietnamese combo. Now, this is an interesting one, actually. It's gone all the way to a third game. Lower bracket. Whoever loses this is out of this $1,000 team tournament. Puppy Paw, Wham, Morgan, and Eric got the double Chinese combo with French, which sounds ludicrous on Mortar, but at the same time, on the Frey Clan's end, they have a baller lineup. Chinese, English with the Admiralty for the extra range. They've got HRE with a ridiculously strong early game economy. And then finally, the annoying Japanese with their Shinobi shenanigans. We've seen actually just how impactful this ninja play can be. In fact, guys, if you remember, I think about a week or so ago, maybe 2 weeks, on the channel, it's in the uploads, we cast a series of Frey Clan on this map with the exact same lineup they're running now, and they looked unstoppable. B and KS typically run this mass boat strat where they just distract, and then Scatterbrain doesn't really participate in the early game. He waits until he's got Admiralty for the extra range so he can trade favorably. All the while, Anatan will go for the Coca Township and harass the economy. So he'll dip between hitting land eco and then sabotaging these docks, which are so far away from safety. Looks like the Juji pick might work out for Puppy Paw. Check this. That is a holy island spawn right there. 36 food, 75 stone, 50 gold. That's wild. Sorry, what was that? What did you say? So yeah, you got 125, 36. So that ends up being 161. Is that right? Remember that correctly? It's over 150 resources. Absolute jackpot for him. And it's really good for the stone in a 1v1, but one thing I am going to like devalue this on, it's not that good in team games because this whole Arislitz is king thing that worked really well for Juji on maps like Holy Island isn't as good in team games because sure you can protect your dock, but as a percentage of the water area, how much is that? It's not a lot. So this can prove quite tricky. The one upside, at least, for Puppy Paw is he is a flank player. So being a flank player means that you're more likely to be fighting underneath your docks. But if they decide to push the west side instead, or say they decide to steer around you, that's where this is going to get a lot more scary for his team. A fast imp Juji. I don't think you're going to be seeing that in this game. You could technically trade the stone, right? Numbers are pretty good there. And also, static emplacements aren't terrible here, especially considering you are a flank player. Meanwhile, west side, we've got walls going up. That's quite the expensive investment out of Cat. Remember, walls take a very long time now. But let's speed this up a little bit for the openings, because we haven't seen any aggro yet. So yeah, Puppy Paw won't want to attack. He'll want to have defender's advantage. Everyone wants defender's advantage, right? This makes sense. You can get more boats out. Shinobi are already shuffling in from Anatan, though. A little bit slow to get his own boats out, but for good reason. Meditation Garden is at least going to scout what's coming. Shinobi does dive in for the kill, unable to get it, though. And Puppy Paw does stick a stake in his heart, but turns out he's not a vampire, so Shinobi does stay alive. And we are going to begin that fact, aren't we? That fact of Zerg for the Shinobi. Live Sim works so well here. If you're going to spam out Shinobi, you can just get to a point where you just start burning down the Meditation Garden. Because right now, you don't want to rush in because your opponent is guarding. You want to wait until your ally comes in the form of B to distract him. And the moment he does, you strike with these sabos. This is tricky. He needs some assistance fast. Morgan's been a little bit slow to arrive here. Looks like he tried to go straight down the center. I'm just not sure why. Wham is at least winning his skirmish on the west side, idling out the HRE. Difficult to do here. Remember, with French, you do get warcogs. You also get additional villagers. But HRE with 40% eco buff is still favored in this opening. And that's before we say anything of the assistance coming his way. Scatterbrained is on the way over. Admiralty has not been taken just yet, though. Outpost now coming in. So, boon for Puppy Paw is the fact that he does have all that stone now to get into hand cannon sleds. Ones that we'll definitely need. Sabotage comes in from the Shinobi. Gets both the docks. This is big. This is why Japan just feels so good in these situations. essentially able to disarm your opponent. Now may give him the edge to push forward. Anatan's plus B, shoving against this. Meditation Garden, going to be ignored because Shinobi does find the villager, so big hit there. And he'll even dive in to sabotage the complete dock. So this is crippling for Puppy Boy right now. Even if he could actually afford all these docks, he's not able to actively produce out of them. We're up to 9 Shinobi, guys. Do you think when Anatan plays games like this, he just pulls out, like, his mum's, like, stockings or something? Puts them over his head like he's about to rob a bank and pretends to be a ninja? Just got this picture of, like, you know, Anatan swinging around a kitchen knife and his mum running in on him going, what the hell are you doing? He's really good at this. I mean, we've seen how impactful it could be in the previous Frey Clan game. We're seeing it again because now when you're done pressuring one player, you can go into the next. It's a ripple effect. Because you're in a game where no one wants to build land units. Even if they do, let's say Wham's added in 2 knights. What do 2 knights do against 9 Shinobi other than die? It's a losable fight every day of the week. You need at least 2 more knights to feel confident about it. Because then you could cycle charge them. So Puppy Boy is sick and tired of this crap. Eric has come all the way from north to assist here. Demo ships are looking to move in, though. And the archer ships just about gets the hit in time. Counter-attack coming in from Puppy Boy, though. The demo ships not quite able to reach. Anatan does have the defensive units for it. Shinobi still creeping in time and time again here, although the outpost has at least started to make that much more difficult. So no one gets sniped down. Anatan with only 6 ninjas now. Not the kind of performance that gets you the Ninja Warrior Championship belt. Scatbrain has been being annoying with his king, but a classic one here is Desert Raiders will destroy the English king. I think we do have the extra range now, though, right? Yes, Scatbrain, he has that edge. This is really big when you're playing team formats like this, because now it's not just the fact you can kite your opponents indefinitely, it's when you're in the big clustered fight, your teammate can be ahead of you. Cat can be ahead of you, and then you layer behind him. You don't have to scramble over him trying to get around him, then body blocking him against demos. You can be a little bit more orderly about it. Let's push back here. Wham now suffering because Red did shift to the south side to assist. Army's now on the way home, but in the meantime, a lot of ground being gained. And Wham! What's he... Wait, has he got... He has no fishing! Oh my god, they pretty much wiped it out. Shoved all the way back here. Red now arriving to assist. And in fact, we have mass demos on the way. Poppy Paw looking to wipe the board clean here with a big boom shakalaka. He tanks it though. Springald's... I mean, if it takes this many demos, is it really worthwhile? Is the question mark in his mind right now. Wraps in for a more value play. Gets the sandwich. Gets the surround. Resets the playing field, but it comes at a cost because now on the south side, his Springalds don't have that line of demos to reset things. In fact, Green doesn't have any either. They do have a military lead for the time being. Economical? No. These demos are creeping ever closer. Mistakes being made here as Morgan gets sunk! Core of the fleet is down. Morgan contributing only 3 Springald chips now means this is a 2-on-1. Demos are diving deeper. They are starting to clear. There's not really anywhere left for Puppy Paw to retreat here. The upside is at least that these hand cannon slits can assist you. The downside is you are going to get hit by demos. Be holding them back for the time being. The archer ships are going to mop up most of the counterattack. Meanwhile, a counterattack on the north side as Eric has gone in deep here. Scatbrain easily able to kite him out, though. This is a back and forth that I like to see, right? I was worried that this was going to be an immediate snowball on one side. There's still this feeling that Frey Clan kind of has an edge on positioning, but when you look at the raw numbers, it doesn't show in that. This could still go either way. Has he been trading at all? I don't think he has. I'm kind of impressed that Wham's keeping up the way he is, but that's the power of the French, right? Over time, you are just going to get the additional villagers in. In fact, he does have... Has he been... Oh, he's been trading to the neutral shore. Gotcha. So, yeah, he does have 5 traders here. it would have been better to just ask Morgan to build a trade post in the corner and then trade to the neutral here. Kind of surprised that didn't happen, but, you know, it's in hindsight type thing. He doesn't have the grandest of excuses in that he can see the trade post, but he does have the excuse of, like, this is very distracting. There is a lot going on, a lot you need to keep track of here. Demos coming in now to chase him away, because this is kind of cool. Wham! What he done, we theory crafted about this the other week. In theory, French is a really, really good pick in Team Water because you only build one unit type. You should only really be building Warcogs because that's where you get efficiency, right? Is your Warcogs are 30 food cheaper, I believe it was, 75 food compared to the 110, or 35 food, right? So pretty big discount, really good. The problem is that requires a lot of coordination. If you haven't got all your teammates nearby, or one teammate's nearby is distracted or whatever, you're going to lose your boats every time. So I think that's the problem. This is like, wow, it's an elegant idea, but Baltic's a bit weird for it. If you had more of a lane-focused map where like you're all shoving down one area, I could make sense of it. But here, where it essentially turns into kind of a 2v2, it's much more difficult. This Puppy Ball been looking. He has been holding on quite well. That's come at cost though, right? Not much fishing really happening here. When you look at the map, you can see that that's the big dire consequence of all that's been occurring in the last few minutes. Is it feels like you've got 2.5 players fishing on the Canadian Vietnamese team. And then on the Frey Clan team, it's 4, or like 3.5. Scabbrain, 17 Springles. He does need those archer ships to assist though. Ooh, just in time there from KS. This is scary, man. Like the theory crafting that came from Wham with his Springall quantity, it makes sense. Sure, his are more cost efficient, but Scabbrain are more cost efficient traders in that they don't die as easily due to the extra range. Also, Red's House of Wisdom. Yeah, it's an overlay bug. It's been in the game for a while like that. Because remember, in capture it doesn't show at all, and then any team overlay has this problem. We are so uncomfortably close to Puppy Ball getting wiped from water each time we look over here. Tech up is on the way from Anatan though, so although the Shinobi shenanigans have stopped, the real threat is on the way. Mount Samurai is something that they have not prepared for. In any way, right? They don't have walls on the east side, they don't have Spim in there. French Knights on the other side of the map, if they were here, they would not be able to contest. Spin that French player. He really needs more demo. Eric has stacked up the boys, but I do at least like that he went Teak Mast. I think Teak Mast, I've talked about this before about why it's so good. You usually get away with taking like an extra archer flurry, which could be the difference between gap closing here. But this gap closing is a little bit linear in its approach. Eric trying to sneak in is not going to work out. Good hold ground there by KS. Able to wipe all the demos, and now a return fire hit coming in. KS able to dive deep. They're getting greedy because they know they can. They're stacked. Wham! Bam! And thank you, ma'am! All but 4 get wiped out. Wham! On the verge of going for Castle Age. Now needs to fully reinvest. What a hit! Backstab in though! Puppy Ball says we ain't done here! Big hit to Scabbrain. Half of the count deleted. What is this game? I cannot believe this. You can tell the tournament lives on the line here. Baltic delivering what it needs to in Game 3. Oh my god, there's just so much happening. Things calm down on the east side long enough for Puppy Paw to send that kiss, that breath of relief across the water. And now, while doing that, simultaneously teching up himself, Puppy Paw doing everything he can to keep his team alive in this third deciding game. There's only so many times you can do that. Someone else is going to have to step up now. It was a heavy hit to Scatterbrain's count, but he's still sitting here with 16 Sprinkles in tow. Wall up is not going to be in time as the first of the Knights arrive for Anatan. So Mount Samurai now threatening him here. Puppy Paw is probably going to need to prep, what, crossbows? Or you're going to have to go mass spears. I'll tell you what, water can be tedious sometimes, but can we agree, like, you know, yes, it'd be nice to have more elegance to, like, the counter system and a lot more happening, but, team games kind of give you it, right? Like, the way this is played out, these back and forth sneaks, the split dynamics, this has impressed me a lot more than a 1v1. 1v1s feel very snowbally. You can see who's going to win the game. The game is essentially over, but team water like this has proven to be a back and forth affair. Exactly how we like it. He's still trying to fight back. Tech ups are on the way. The Imperial Power's coming in, but weirdly enough, Anatan doesn't notice what's happening there. So a missed opportunity to just stand still and murder a lot of villagers here. Steady targets the goal, so we'll be chasing out there. It seems that Morgan has not noticed this. Just like to pull back now. Ooh, did he not get the... I don't think he got Tatara. That's the level 1 blacksmith tech, right? It's definitely worth getting. It gives you the 2-hit kill. I don't think he has it. Yeah, it only just came through. Kind of a missed opportunity to get additional kills there. But it is adding up. We're talking about over a 20 eco lead now. Militarily, this is absurd. The push continues. Despite the losses yellow incurred, look at him now. Ram holding the demos in reserve here. We'll get a little bit of surface damage done, but not enough. They do at least have the big upgrades coming in, things like armored hulls. So although the population is with Frey Clan, remember the quality of boats now lies with Canada, Vietnam. Unfortunately, in a lot of these situations, quantity tends to beat quality here. Hardcore has done a good job still holding his area of the map on the south side. However, B has just aged up, so this is going to be big. He has, what, the biggest Navy force, I think, of any player here. So a big booster to actually get all those upgrades in for him. Next would be prioritizing English over HRE, because English do get the extra range. The Springle ships will go up to 8-tower range, which is pretty insane in these fights. That's the thing, they're already castle light, right? Like, you can get the Springle Cruise tech, but they already have it. Demo ships coming in! And that is Eric without a navy. Does have more demo ships prepping, but once again, it's that Springled range. It makes it much easier to siege down these docks without sacrificing. Regnet's now on the way for KS. Scatterbrained about to tech as well. He's saving up for it. The fishing fully idle. Eric just needs to get down here and build a new docks, because right now, he's missing a huge chunk of his economy. Camelons are going to try to march over, so they know about the attempt to break through the walls. They're going to have to react to that accordingly. Backstab coming in from Morgan. Not the biggest of hits. It's a decent start, but now the surround. Poppy Paw. He abandons home for this. I mean, it's a good hit, but what's happening in return? Look at this. The immediate siege down B sends it in to delete all the docks. They may get the wipe on Scatterbrained here, or at least reduce him heavily, but the pain in return is going to be felt, because now this can ripple into the economy of Morgan, who's been freely gathering fish in this corner for a long time. And even after all that, it doesn't look like Scatterbrained suffered that much. Able to get away, and now Anatan in with the mass demos! He pushes him to the shores! Big detonations, he got the explosive upgrades! And that's a wipe of the docks and the fleet! And this game looking all but over, 61 to 190. Baltic has been decided. Frey Clan will take the pond. The question now is whether Vietnam and Canada have enough land eco to survive the coming storm. TCs are being boomed up by both Chinese variants. French have also added in their own additionals. Ayyubids, I mean, good luck, buddy. You're playing the weakest Civ for this transition imaginable. They have at least got a breakthrough, so Eric is going to draw attention back towards the land side for Frey Clan. But with all that economy on water, they should be capable of now massing spears to defend against this. And those spears did just get vetted up, so the Camel Lancers aren't going to be able to hang around for long here in Cat's economy. First wave gets cleaned up, second one's on the way, but that just means you're running into more and more spears as time goes on here. It's kind of that classic we talk about with French Knights all the time. The first French Knight is much more impactful than the follow-up 2, 3, 4. Because there just isn't a counter scaled in place yet. That counter is now scaling quickly. KS, over 30 spearmen in the field. trade finally has been set up for that corner. So good news for Wham is at least he's going to have a decent economy. So that just leaves one player who's question marked, right? Like, what do you do if you are Eric here? I guess you could try to rush relics, but that requires a level of map control you no longer possess. How do siege units do against Navy since rework? Haven't tested it, but they still have their bonus damage on Springles, right? And Mangoes and whatnot. So, in theory, they should do good, but, you know, unless you get that old school Springle bug, which the ships had, where you shoot beyond your range, I'm not sure how Springles are going to help you in a pond this big. Whiff. We did get Regnants as well, right? Yeah, so relics are going to be a big deal. It's going to scale him even further. And Swabby are already coming in due to the fact that he has, well, I'm going to guess 30 fishing. 32 fishing boats. I can't help but feel that Canada, Vietnam's chances of winning this are wholly reliant on Frey Clan doing nothing. We've kind of reached that point. Like, the numbers are fairly simple to follow at this stage, right? 430 economy versus 320, right? And then the military. Now, a big chunk of this is admittedly on water, so that's a bit deceptive. But the rate at which that land force is growing is scary. That's true. They can water trade. I don't think any of them are going to bother here. Feels a bit too greedy at this stage. You've got a timing attack in mind. Because if you water trade, your opponent's going to set up their own land eco. You can attack them instead right now because all you need is food-based units, right? Palace Guards, Spearmen, Mounted Samurai. These are all food-heavy units. Speaking of which, my food's apparently ready. Ooh, do I come back and do more afterwards? I mean, there is another series we could cast. Wolf's going up here desperately, trying to get some semblance of a defense line. Castle the Crow is on the way. 2 villages. I wondered why this was so slow. Anatan is taking the slow approach to this. Doesn't feel rushed at all. He shouldn't. Mountain Samurai are already reaching the very backs of Vietnam, Canada here. And there's going to be the deletion. So Scatterbrain ready to transition to a land force here. Mass Knights being queued up by the English player. Trade. Just freely accessible, man. Like, where's the defense here? Every single member of Vietnam, Canada is building a range unit. Right? But they don't have mobility now. So with the crossbow's not in position, this is going to lead to a lot of economical loss. Yeah, just kind of giving full control over like this doesn't feel great. If they got the walls up, it's kind of okay to build crossbows first, but I get that they need efficiency. They can't build spears because they're less efficient at trading than mass crossbows with these choke point defenses, but you just don't have the time for crossbows from free players. Just not the one if you ever will. One upside at least is Wham will fare better because he has got the Gambeson's tech, which he can access, right? It's going to give him the +5 armor against mass spears. He hasn't even got it yet. Needs it sooner rather than later. In the meantime, the TC Boom of Puppy Paw is going to flop dead. B immediately rushes in. He's already got the Yuan Dynasty, so no escape from this. And Puppy Paw with a desperation keep. He has got the textiles, but the numbers seem way too high here. Fully surrounded, nowhere to hide. Puppy Paw. Well, the defensive keep might go up, but I don't know who's going to go inside it. It's not even going to complete in time. 10% away. What's that? 20 villagers going down. A cancel of the keep. And a cancel of his existence in this game. Down to 57 economy. B. Now he points across at Morgan, the other Chinese player in this lobby, and says, "You're next." He's not done. God damn. What an awesome game. Still has that tough issue of water, I think, that I've always had a problem with, which is like once you lose it, you can't recover. But in fairness, like my bigger issue with water is in a lot of situations, if you don't engage with it, you lose anyway. That's why I'd rather see them fix. This was just really solid back and forth water engagement into, wow, yeah, no coming back. I think we'll speed this up now because this one's over. My frame rate can't handle this. I'm looking forward to the PC build we're going to do to fix that, by the way. It should be coming hopefully sometime in November. But let me know what you thought of this, guys. I think Baltic really does deliver something special in team games. This was a gem to watch. I think a lot of the time, Water can be kind of a roll of the eyes. And although the Aftermath felt like a roll of the eyes, the comeback seemed very unlikely. The fights themselves, the build-up to reach this point where we had our winner was incredible. Really big shout out, in particular, to Puppy Paw, the way he kind of tried to recover that west side. But even bigger shout out to go to the entirety of Frey Clan. Like, these guys, the way they play on this map is scary. I think this is a strong draft point for them for the rest of this tournament, and one that could get them revenge wins against the very best civs and best teams remaining in Fields of Blood. Will they be able to make the deep run? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Frey Clan do remain in the lower bracket, but the key part in that is that they remain. Can they be the upsetter? The last European standing. Can they go all the way and slay all the Chinese and Vietnamese beasts which lie ahead of them? We'll find out in the next chapter.